Today's show is going to be really interesting here on All In with Bryan Weatherford. Let me tell you why. We always talk to people in a variety of businesses. Today we're going to be talking about the CrossFit industry. We're going to get some tips on why CrossFit can help people, but I also am anxious to get some information from this particular guest to let him know how he's been able to get through the tough times for a lot of businesses and maybe have some advice for similar businesses in his industry as well. The name of the business we're speaking with today is Precision CrossFit with my guest, Mr. Mike Tromello. Mike, how are you, sir? Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Happy to be here.
Well, hey, let me ask you something. Obviously, you're in the CrossFit business, and I'm just curious, have you always been an athlete yourself and started doing CrossFit and decided to get in the business, or what's your background on choosing this field?
Yeah, I played college and professional football overseas. So I was always an athlete my entire life. And naturally, when I was done playing, I needed something to do. I actually gained quite a bit of weight and then found a CrossFit gym in 2008, and pretty much changed my life.
Well, it probably changed your life and maybe for yourself, but for so many people that I know personally, it's actually extended their life in a lot of ways. So it's a really fascinating industry to me. And I know a little bit about it, not personally, sorry, but from friends and actually from doing this show. But for people that don't know exactly what CrossFit is, can you just give me just a brief elementary definition of what you do?
I'll try and give you a short answer. It is essentially functional movements done across broad and modal domains. So what that means is circuit training. I always call it circuit training on steroids. So weightlifting, gymnastics, running, swimming, you name it, all put together, and you have a time domain to do those movements.
And it's the type of thing, one of the big reasons people don't work out, they get bored. But you're not going to get bored in CrossFit because you're doing so many different things, correct?
Yes, it changes every single day. It can be a different thing, it can be one thing, and that's what makes it so much fun and appealing for so many people out there.
Very nice. Well, yours is one of the businesses, sadly, that when COVID hit, it's impacted big time because you obviously have a gym and everybody's close together and stuff. But in reading the notes, it thankfully doesn't seem that it impacted you quite as much as others. So if you don't mind, can we touch on COVID a little bit from a business standpoint? How have you been able to get through it?
Well, it was a monumental task. I'm not going to lie, and if I didn't say that I wasn't a little bit lucky, then I'd be lying. But we built up a heck of a brand and community before this ever happened. When COVID hit, the community came together and made sure we stayed open. Not too many canceled. They donated money. They did a lot of cool things. I was also well enough to kind of forecast the gym's future well before COVID ever happened. So I put a substantial amount of money in our savings account just in case. And with that money, I was able to build an outdoor area that was 2,100 square feet in size with all the bells and whistles that all CrossFitters love. And that really, really helped us a lot because it made us an essential business. And we were able to pull permits to stay open in the city of Agoura and continue keeping people fit and healthy.
You know, the word community, you mentioned it 3 times there in about 10 seconds. Community is such a big thing in your industry because the people, your clients, your students, your customers, whatever you want to call them, they truly do form a community within itself, and in a lot of ways it polices itself. For example, if somebody misses a workout, the community is going to jump in and say, hey, where were you? Is that fair? Everybody kind of looks out for each other?
100%. In fact, that still happens to this day. And I say community because it's definitely a buzzword of CrossFit, but my gym's definitely more like a family.
Well, and it's so important. It was really heartwarming to hear how the community, your family, jumped in to keep the family alive. But I know now that you're up and rolling and everything, they're going to keep an eye on each other as well.
Yeah, and it was also just, sorry.
Well, you go.
It was also just such they did more than just that. They kept looking out for me. They looked out for my family, and that was awesome. They checked on us and it was cool. Yeah, I get emotional talking about it, but it was my life and my livelihood. And they made sure that we stayed afloat as a family. That's really my only main source of income. So we also were able to keep all of my coaches employed as well and paid throughout the entire time. So they are truly amazing people.
Well, Mike, no problem getting choked up about it. Let's just say this. If they didn't love Mike the man and Mike the businessman, they'd be off doing something else. So it speaks volumes for you and your entire team there, because I know it's not just you at the gym. So rolling in, now this one's got me. I was looking at the notes, and you said you actually had your best fourth quarter in 9 years. That was a heck of a fourth quarter to have. What do you attribute that to? Is it still sticking on with the community?
Yeah, I mean that, and definitely a lot of just the outdoor area, and then staying on top of everything and staying on top of the community, like you said, and having accountability. Also, just our programming, which is a buzzword in CrossFit, is very good. And a lot of people decided when things were all up in hoopla with their gyms that they were going to try precision out, which they had always wanted to do, but never, I guess, had the guts or never really saw the opportunity to, didn't really know how to leave whatever gym they were currently at. And because other gyms were closing down or not open, they took advantage and ran with us, and they found a new really great home.
You know, as I was joking earlier, I'm not a CrossFit kind of guy, but let me ask you something. Let's be honest. Not all of us played collegiate, let alone professional football. And for those of us that didn't grow up and spend a lifetime staying in shape in a gym, it's a little intimidating. So totally honest here, and you won't hurt my feelings, could a guy like me that's never worked out feel comfortable walking into your place? Could you take care of someone in my level?
One, you're about the average population of my gym, to be honest. I have a ton of 50-plus-year-old members in my gym. My mom does CrossFit weekly. She's 64 years old. My dad comes in to train. He's 70. I also train a lot of special needs kids, and they do CrossFit to a point as well. So anybody can do it, especially with the right coaching.
Well, and that's the critical thing. And then conversely, someone that is a stellar athlete, you can certainly crank it up and stay on their level too, right? So they're not getting bored either.
Yes, Precision's been very, very lucky over the 9 years to have several top level CrossFit athletes that have gone to the CrossFit Games. So as I tell everybody, we're a great gym, and has nothing to do with the type of athletes. The best athletes just go to the best gym because we do it right.
That's outstanding. I love a community where everybody's included, or whatever level they may be. In your notes, you mentioned the word co-branding. I'm familiar with co-branding across the board with businesses, but specifically, what do you mean when you're talking about co-branding your gym, and how can maybe others do the same?
Well, one thing I tell people all the time is if you're in the CrossFit industry to make a lot of money, you're in the wrong industry, the gym industry in general. So if you're in it to make a career, you have to have another brand. That meaning you or another or a programming company or something else that makes you additional income. And I started another brand with my last name called Tromello Programming several years ago, where it was an online programming company where I trained athletes essentially to go to the CrossFit Games or to go do a Spartan race or whatever it was online. And because I did that, when COVID hit, I was able to pivot and go mostly online to make the additional income I needed that I had lost from when the gym being closed for those 3 months.
Well, because you were you were such a great forethinker, if you will. I hope that's a real word. It's my show, so I'm making it a real word now. The fact that you did that a couple of years ago, there's a lot of people when everything hit, they're scrambling and just now putting it together. You were ahead of the game on that. So moving forward, do you see a situation where you're going to continue to be a hybrid? Some people still may not be comfortable coming to the gym. They can go the virtual route, and then others can come in, and then you're still hitting them both directions?
Yes, I was always hybrid. I had always done it. I just never had put so much emphasis in one or the other. So I'll definitely be keeping the hybrid going. I enjoy having both brands, and both brands have really grown with each other, and they complement each other so well that it's really been beneficial.
Well, and then quite frankly, I just thought about this, as people begin to travel for work and whatnot, they're not going to be there to come in person to work in the gym, but they can go online and out by the pool or wherever they are, wherever they may be, they can still log in and be part of the virtual community, if you will, and keep doing the CrossFit and staying in shape. I love everything about that. Kudos to you for thinking of that before COVID. Hey, we're out of time, man. It's been a really good time chatting with you today. You just got such a great business, and I sincerely admire your passion. And it really came through when we were talking about the community and how everybody chipped in together to keep Precision up and rolling. And that speaks volumes again for you. Thanks for sharing your story, man. Continued success.
Thank you.